What Palantir does is we essentially collapse the time needed from the time you realize that your infrastructure is not working to the time you can ask and answer the question. And that's how we ended up being the engine behind most anti-terror institutions in the West, a number of the largest economic institutions in the West, and why Palantir is in 35 countries helping to mitigate the disaster incurred in the wake of the COVID pandemic.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we're talking about Palantir. So the market has been closed the last couple of days, and a lot of new articles have come out about Palantir, bullish and bearish, and some more news. So I want to get into all of that. We're going to go over the recent articles. It's going to be somewhat of a quick video, and I also want to talk about where I see this going in the coming weeks and months. So before we get into that, if you don't mind dropping a like and hitting subscribe, it really helps out the channel. Check out the links in the description to the free Discord server, my Webull referral link, as well as the Patreon if you guys want more insight on what I'm looking at, whether it's growth, SPAC, or option plays. Now let's get into it. So first up, we have somewhat of a bearish article, and we know that every time Palantir starts to head up towards that 28-29 resistance, then a price target downgrade or an article comes out and it really kills the momentum. But they do present some great points in this article. So first up, we have the lockup period. This ends in February, and I'm sure people will be selling just before the lockup period just to cover themselves in case it sells off after. Insiders can sell their shares, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen. However, I think once this fear of the lockup period is gone, then people will buy up Palantir, and it could head higher, similar to how Lemonade did. Next up is their issues with Palantir's transparency and their work with the government. It says, even media and critics claim that Palantir helps the U.S. government spy on citizens, which I have no information on this. This is all up for interpretation. I'm going to leave that to you guys, and if you don't want to invest in Palantir because of these claims, that's totally respected.
It's said sometimes about Palantir in print that your technology was useful to the Obama administration and to the CIA under Leon Panetta in the hunt for Osama bin Laden. Let me just ask you, is that true?
Well, Palantir, it's one of those questions, obviously, when you run a company like mine, you're never allowed to answer. But what I can tell you is, Palantir has disrupted some of the largest terror attacks you've never heard of.
Then we have Palantir's growth opportunities, and basically saying, post-COVID, will they still have a lot of room to grow? And I think so. They're getting constant contracts, and, they do work closely with the government. And down at the bottom, it says they're too focused on the government. However, with this demo day coming up, I think people will see a lot more about Palantir and learn what they do, check out their platforms even more, and that could potentially help them grow and scale towards, normal clients instead of just so focused on the government. Then we hop on over to a bullish article that says 3 reasons to remain bullish on Palantir despite overvaluation concerns. And basically, this one gets into a lot of Palantir's contracts, and it says that their multi-million-dollar contracts with the U.S. Army are worth their weight in gold, and the data analytics company is just getting started and claims to have a total addressable market of $119 billion, which is awesome. Then it goes down a bit. Palantir is as secure as Fort Knox, so many consider Palantir's close links with the U.S. security establishment as a source of concern, like we mentioned in that bearish article. However, having contracts with the U.S. Army is a source of strength, and I totally agree with this. I think their close relationship with the U.S. government makes me feel more confident in them, similar to Boeing. Then we scroll down a bit, and it says at the same time, fundamentals are improving. Revenue in the third quarter increased by 52% year over year, beating analysts' estimates by $10.5 million, and the company raised its full year 2020 revenue guidance to a range of $1.7 billion to $1.72 billion, up 44% year over year. Gross margin is a very healthy 69%, highlighting the benefits of its asset-light model. Now, we know their financials come out pretty soon here. I'm excited to see those. Hopefully they beat. And then down here, they're getting contract after contract, like we've mentioned. I mentioned this in one of my previous videos about Palantir. They just got a 2-year contract with the UK's National Health Services valued at $31.6 million. The NHS will use Palantir's Foundry platform to understand how COVID-19 spreads and identifies risks to particular populations, increase health and care resources in emerging hotspots, and supply equipment to the facilities with the greatest need. All right, so we have another bullish article for Palantir. this one says one stock to buy, one stock to sell. So Palantir is a stock that they are buying. And it talks about the catalyst last week when Kathy Wood and ARK Invest bought 497,100 shares. We did see people react nicely to this and the stock did go higher. So that catalyst is kind of out of the way. But this also talks about how the chart technicals look promising. So basically, they are above the 10 and 21 day moving averages, which usually signals more gains ahead in the near term. So hopefully we can see Palantir trend higher and break that 28-29 resistance and then end up back near all-time highs, whether that's 30 to 31. And then who knows where hype and FOMO can take that from there. Another thing to note here is that Palantir's COVID-19 contract with the US government is apparently under threat. Now, nothing has been confirmed, but it's said that Trump's administration has suggested that Joe Biden go with a different route with the COVID tracker because Palantir is inaccurate. However, the company, they have other contracts going on. They had a $36 million deal with the National Institute of Health to develop a COVID-19 patient database, as well as the UK's National Health Service, worth $31.5 million to develop a software platform for data processing of COVID-19 patients. So, nothing is confirmed yet. This could get blown over, but it's worth mentioning, but I don't think it's going to affect the stock price right now. Something else I wanted to throw in here that has recently surfaced is that Karp and Cohen are going to be buying potentially over 1 million shares of Palantir within the next 30 days. Now, I don't see an exact number on here, so don't quote me on that, but that's just what I've heard and what's surfaced. So I'll definitely be watching for that, but I do view that as a huge positive, especially with the lockup period coming up. These guys aren't selling, they're buying more. So all eyes are definitely going to be on this upcoming demo day, and it's going to be really great for the company to demonstrate how their platforms work and, give people more guidance on what to expect from this company in the future. Now, if you're playing options, I would personally lock in profits before the event and sell the news, because once the unknown becomes the known, you have a lot of people taking profits and you don't want to get caught, holding those options and lose money. But, if you did want to leave a runner to play the event, if you have that risk tolerance, go for it. As far as shares, you're totally fine. I'm going to be holding my shares long term. I see Palantir going way higher from here. Its growth is impressive. Their customers are massive and the total addressable market is huge. Now, volatility will likely always happen around this stock just because they are controversial. You're going to have bull and bearish articles, price target upgrades, the lockup period's coming up. So, just keep all of that in mind. But long term, I think their shares have massive long-term upside. And then, as long as market sentiment doesn't get thrown out of whack, I think Palantir will break through these resistance that we've talked about and head to the all-time highs. So that's what I'm looking for from this company. But, always risk manage accordingly just in case things don't go our way. And if Palantir were to sell off, I would just add some more shares. So that's pretty much it, guys. Just a quick video on the recent news articles that I could find on Palantir. I'm pretty bullish on them, so we're definitely going to be watching them very closely leading up to this event, as well as the lockup period. Let me know what you guys are watching in the stock market this week, and if you're bullish on Palantir, please like and subscribe, check out the Patreon, and have a good one.